My 600-pound life, Ashley Taylor, who was on season 8, episode 15, and it premiered April 8th, 2020. Ashley's 24. She grew up with her mom and her grandmother. Her mom has epilepsy, and so she grew up in fear of her mom having those seizures. Grandma had to work 2 jobs to support everybody, and Ashley basically had run of the house. And because of this, she could eat whenever she wanted and whatever she wanted, and by the age of 5, she was 100 pounds. By 7, she was 200 pounds, and she always thought that her father just took off and didn't want to be part of her life. Well, she actually did a DNA test, and her father was like a close family friend, and that really hurt her because he stuck around but didn't want to be her dad. And as a child, one of her neighbors did essay her as well as other children in the area. It eventually all came out, and that person did go to prison for it. By the age of 10, she was 300 pounds, and at 12, she was 400 pounds. And she said that when she was younger, her grandmother did try to intervene and try to get her help, but Ashley would just kind of always overrule her and do whatever she wanted. And around the age of 12, Ashley also started to catfish people online. At 14, her mom would go into a nursing home and has been there ever since. At the age of 18, she was 500 pounds, and when she was 20, her grandmother was diagnosed with cancer and died before her 21st birthday. Ashley now is homeless, and she moves in with a person who is a feedie, but he is very abusive to her, and so she ends up moving out and moves into a homeless shelter. But eventually, she is able to move into a place of her own. And month 1, her and a couple of friends that live next door make the 3-hour drive to Houston, Texas. She weighs in at 486 pounds. She has high blood pressure. She has type 2 diabetes. And Dr. Now says, I need you to lose at least 25 pounds in the next month. She claims that she was weighed in at another place at 630 pounds. And she's like, look, I've already lost all of this weight. Why won't you just approve me right now? Dr. Now sees through that, and he's like, she was never that weight. She admits that she eats fried food a lot, and he says that you gotta cut all that out. Here's the plan, and I need you to go to the therapist. In month 2, she is 476 pounds, which is a recent weight loss of 10 pounds. Dr. Now says that her BMI is 86 and that she really needs to start going to therapy. And she's like baffled that she didn't get the surgery, even though she didn't meet her weight loss goal. And this is kind of a theme that we'll see through the whole episode. She goes and sees Lola, and they talk about her childhood trauma. And she says that I would like you to make an online profile that is you, not a catfish, truly, honestly you. In month 3, she has not done her homework. She has not made the profile of herself. She says that she is just too emotional right now. She needs to focus on her weight loss instead. But that since she's been doing so well, she gets herself a little treat and orders 2 pizzas. We're in month 4. She goes to see Dr. Now, and literally almost half of the episode is just this discussion. She's 475 pounds. That's a recent weight loss of 2 pounds, which is a total of 12 pounds. And she says, I'm doing great. I'm losing weight. And Dr. Now's like, no, you're not. He keeps saying you are still eating 4,000 to 5,000 calories per day. You need to be eating the 1,200 that I told you to. And he also says, there might be something else going on that we don't know about, but you won't let us take a blood draw to run some tests. And she says, I'll do it when I get home. I've got a person there that knows my veins and I trust them. So the doctor now's like, well, if you don't trust us to take your blood, how are you going to trust us to do your surgery? She gets very defensive and she's like, I need to go to somebody that knows my veins. You people don't know my veins, blah, blah, blah. So they discuss that for quite a while. Her friends, they keep trying to calm her down. They're like, don't do it, just stay calm. And instead she storms off and leaves. Friends calm her down in the car. They come back in and Dr. Now asks the exact same question. If you don't trust us to take your blood, how are you going to trust me to do your surgery? And she's like, this again, can't we just move forward? And he's like, no, it's a valid question. He's like, this is part of the process. I asked these questions and you need to answer them. Everybody goes through this process. So he just keeps asking her more and more questions and really trying to get through to her because clearly this is not all sinking in. And so finally she admits, yep, I'm still overeating. Yep, I'm still getting fast food. So he sends her back to therapy. Her and Lola check in again, and she finally makes that profile. And I have to laugh because her friend is taking the photo, and she eventually does smile, but the very first one is this photo here. I don't know, like eyes closed. I'm like, what is this? What is this picture you're taking? She also decides she wants to get out there and meet more people and get involved in her community, and so she goes and she does a boxing class. In month 5, she reaches out to her family to try and make amends, but none of them have responded. Month 6, she's down to 469 pounds. That is a recent weight loss of 6 pounds, 17 in total. And she's like, well, I'm basically almost at 20 pounds, so can I get my surgery now? And Dr. Now's like, no, you missed the whole point. You should have lost way more than now. It was 20 pounds per month, not 20 pounds in total. He also does some searching and he finds the clinic that she went to that she was trying to get weight loss surgery from before that allegedly she weighed in at 630 pounds. But he says, they never said you weighed 630. They weighed you in at 449, 477, then 479. She finally lets him draw her blood. There is nothing life-threatening, just the diabetes and the high blood pressure. And so he says, keep going to therapy, lose 40 pounds, and then we will talk about your surgery. She does go back and see Lola, and Lola says that she thinks that she probably has borderline personality disorder and a depressive disorder and that she needs continuous therapy. That is where we leave off with her My 600-Pound Life episode. However, she was on 2 episodes of Catfish, Season 8, Episode 1, which premiered January 8th, 2020. Red believes that they are talking to Jalissa for the last 6 years. They've talked on the phone, they've never FaceTimed, they've never met up, and actually Red has tried multiple times to meet up with Jalissa, but always gets ghosted. Also, Jalissa allegedly is the hairstylist for some famous people, including Tamar Braxton. Catfish do some snooping. They call up Jalissa, and she's like, yeah, I'll fly to LA to see Red, but you need to book it under Ashley Taylor. Now, her My 600-Pound Life episode hasn't come out yet, so they don't know who she is. So they meet up, surprise, surprise, it's Ashley, not Jalissa. She admits that she's been doing this since she was 12 and that she just did it for fun. She was never attracted to Red. She was never in love with her. She said that over the years, she's had more than 3,000 profiles. And there's a few iconic scenes in this episode where basically Cammie, who is one of the other hosts, Neve and Cammie at that time, she says basically that Cammie needs to be quiet, that she's just the help. And then she goes, oh, this bee. She says something about this bird is trying to get up in our conversation. And so then Cammie snaps back and she's like, well, bok, bitch. Eventually, Ashley does admit that she is attracted to Red. She is attracted to women. She wants to be friends with Red, but Red wants nothing to do with her. They catch up with him a few months later, and they have not spoken. Red has her blocked on everything. So then Season 8, Episode 10, Gemini thinks that he's speaking with Miranda, and this premiered March 11th, 2020. Gemini is dating somebody else, but he's got this friend, Miranda, that he's been speaking with for 7 years. They've never FaceTimed, never met up, only talked on the phone. They run the phone number of Miranda, and Cammie's like, hey, that's the name associated with Ashley's phone number. So then Neve looks up the phone number for Ashley that he has in his phone, and it's Ashley. So they go down, they meet up with her, they tell her, we already know it's you. She comes out all hot and steaming like she did in all the other episodes. But they staged an intervention this time. So they actually got Red to come back. They have Gemini, and they have 2 of Ashley's friends. Ashley said it was all a joke. It was all for fun. It's not that serious. And her first episode of Catfish has premiered by this point, and they have seen it. And her best friend is like, I was really hurt that you were saying you have nobody. And then I'm just like, here, your best friend. The friend confronts her and says, you said you got married. And she says that, oh yeah, his name was, his full name was Sergio Geronimo Price. Cammie is not buying it. She's like, Basically, Ashley again says, I'm going to shut everything down. I'm not going to catfish anymore. And at the time that the episode ended, Gemini and his girlfriend were still together and had not spoken to Ashley. So what have I found out about her since she's been on the show? Unfortunately, nothing really. I did go through Reddit, and really the only thing that people had said, one person had said that they had her Instagram account. That was from a few years ago, and they never posted the handle. I tried looking for everybody that I could find that was associated with her to see if it linked to her somehow, to an Instagram, to a Facebook, anything like that. Ashley Taylor is kind of a common name, and so I was able to find a lot of Ashley Taylors, but not the one I was looking for. And even back when she had like her own real profile that they showed on Catfish, it wasn't her face. And so even if one of them would have been her, I may not have known it was her. There were a few other aliases of hers that I also found. I tried those, couldn't find anything either. And really the only somewhat update that I could find was allegedly at some point she was dating this guy. Which, do you recognize him? Yeah, he used to date Tammy from 1,000 Pound Sisters. He does have a Facebook, but there's literally one photo on there that I could see, and so there was nothing that I could find between the two of them. And that allegedly Tammy reached out to Ashley to warn her about Jerry, but Ashley thought that Tammy was just trying to ruin her life. And at some point there were photographs of the two of them together, but it's unclear where they are today. I don't know what Ashley's up to now. I don't know where she is or what she's been doing, if she's still catfishing or not. But I just hope that she did continue with the therapy, that she continues on her journey, that she's able to heal and she's in a better place, and that she's not catfishing anyone anymore.